What's happening, people? Today, I'm going to be telling a story all about my dream plumbing job, yeah? So, context to this whole story, I've been a plumber for 20 years. I'm getting into my 30s. So, at some point, yeah, I just want a full-time job, like chasing all this money and all that. Do you know what? Sometimes it just doesn't work out, and it doesn't work out. You're not making the money what you need to make as a tradesperson. So, it's not a bad thing, but to have a full-time job, I'm able to live comfortably, buy a house, buy a car, go on holiday, look after my family, or invest in my family to be, right? Or just even general, just get money. It's simple. It's a simple method which works easy, but still allows me to do my PJs or my private jobs or my social media posts at any point what I want while I build up while I'm doing that. This isn't my main source of income. Being a plumber is my main source of income. Do you get it? Right. So I found this job, yeah. Well, this job found me. Let me say it to you like this. And why I say this is there's certain vacancies which people are looking for individuals who have a set skill level, yeah. And I managed to reach that criteria. So what I mean is that I've worked at a lot of high-end companies, yeah, and businesses. So I've worked at places like Amazon headquarters. I've also worked for people who are billionaires in London. So there's been a few places. So I used to work in Brompton Street, Upper Brompton Street, that's what it's called. And I used to work Brompton Street. Sorry, it's not called Upper Brompton. It's just called Brompton Street. Brompton Street and Regent's Park as well. If you've worked inside or worked inside any of the properties inside Regent's Park, you realize that some of those people are multi-millionaires or billionaires, if that thing. But this is where I'm going with the story. So I don't mind working in high-end homes, you know, because for myself, I know that it's just as stressful as working in like social housing or something like that. It's a different environment. Yes, you're definitely right. But social housing is not the environment where I want to be working in when it comes to a long period for like 5 or 6 years. I don't want to be doing that. That's not for me. Right. So I thought, let me get a job where I'm working in a affluent area. So I'm working in Chelsea at this point. That's where this job was located. And how the job got raised to me or brought to my attention was this lady called me. She's a recruiter, but she only recruits for like high-end properties and people, you know, like of that type of ilk, right? She's seen my CV because my CV is quite good. Where I've worked for good establishments, yeah? I've always maintained that. Working for good establishments will always help you get another job. Do you get it? So I've continued to do that for a while, even while I've been teaching. So this lady says to me, right, I've got this job. It's a lead, like you'll be running a site, and it's like, I have to be careful about how I explain this. And let me tell you why I have to be careful in a second. But it's just a high-end site, basically, where there are apartments, let's say. So I'm like, yeah, it sounds interesting. It sounds like something I would be interested in doing. So what I did was, obviously, I sent my CV, had an interview, aced the interview. They got back to me and they said, all right, cool, we would like you to start. And this is when I started to get a bit skeptical about it, because it's in Chelsea, yeah. So in general, I personally, I want the most amount of money what I can get physically, because I know me working in Chelsea and being the lead of a site, yeah, that means that I won't be able to do anything else, really. My main focus and all of my main money will only come from this job, right? I know that. I'm aware of that. So as we're going through the interview, there's something which I want to explain to you. There's something called a NDA, a non-disclosure agreement. That's what it's called. I'm going to play what ChatGPT says what it is. And there's two different types. So you got to know which one you're signing up to. And it makes perfect sense for my whole story. Now listen. Hold on.
An NDA, non-disclosure agreement, is a legally binding contract that establishes confidentiality between two or more parties. It prevents the involved parties from sharing or disclosing certain confidential or proprietary information to outside parties. NDAs are commonly used in business settings to protect trade secrets, proprietary information, and sensitive business data. They are often signed by employees, contractors, business partners, or investors. There are two main types of NDAs.
There's two.
One, unilateral NDA.
Unilateral.
One party agrees not to disclose confidential information shared by another party. Two, mutual NDA. Both parties agree not to share each other's confidential information. Breaking an NDA can lead to legal consequences, including lawsuits and financial penalties.
Right. So I had to sign one of them when I started this job, which I thought was very weird because I've never had to sign one of them before. So that was red flag number one, right? So I got to the job, I started the job, and I realized that this company who I was working for, they were very like distant, if you get what I mean, from the site, is in a sense where I was the only person stationed at the site, and there was another person as well, but he wasn't he didn't have a contract for that company. Only I had the contract, right? So I've got there. First weeks went through. No one's called me at the first week and said like, how's your first week getting along and all that? And that's the second red flag, because when people don't call you to ask you what's going on or how are you getting on, either means they don't care or they're not really that bothered. It's not a priority to them what you're going through, right? Even if you're a newbie, even if you're a new person to the site. Well, bit weird, but hey, crack on, innit? I'm here to work. I'm not here to like do anything else. What I did find was that the minute I got there as someone who is a qualified plumber and someone who is a lecturer as well, yeah, there was all these things to fix. But before I go into the things to fix and stuff like that, I said to them, as we're going to be working together and I'm going to be the lead on the site, I would like all of the outstanding jobs which we have available, or jobs which you know about, or jobs which are, and this is the word to say, which are hereditary to the site, which you know need to get fixed. And what it is just that I like to work off of, I know what I'm working with, what are the problems, let's kind of deal with them before they get out of hand. I.e., if there's a problem with the boilers or whatever, what we're going to do is we're going to sort that as soon as possible when we're not using them. Do you get it? Just common sense. It's up here for thinking. But these people have got a different deviated plan, right? So I'm looking at stuff, fixing stuff, what I know has never been fixed before, because what I do when I go to places, I'll be asking questions to people. I'm not stupid. I wasn't born yesterday. Yeah. So when I ask someone, oh, when was the last time this was working? I ain't never seen it working. How long you lived there? A year and a bit. Okay. So they're just trying to get everything done underneath one person and try and run you to the ground. It isn't going to work like that with me. I'm not that type of person where someone could do that to me. If I'm here to do maintenance, I'm going to do maintenance. If I'm here to fix problems which are hereditary when you got the contracts and stuff like that, that's not me. You need to get the contractors in. You don't pay me the rate you pay the contractors to fix the problems. Yes, I can fix it. You're very right. But I'm not obligated to. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. I'm here to do this, and I'm here to deal with the problems. But one thing I found out, there was a guy who used to be there at the site before me. His name was John. And you work with people and people will talk to you about stuff, their own life, and they'll talk to you about what it was like before you. So I asked him, what was it like before me? What did you guys used to do? Oh, we never used to do nothing. We just used to sit in the office, have long tea breaks, go down to the CAF, which is off the site, and just chill. So like 6 hours, we'll just be in this office, just chilling. Okay, interesting. Very interesting. Because the moment I've got here, we've done nothing but work, never chilling. So I went home in the evening. I said, oh, keep that to myself. That's red flag number 3. Yeah? You used to do nothing, but now you do something every day. Red flag, right? So I've red flagged that to myself, and I said like, all right, cool. These lot are playing that type of game. I know how to play that. I'm just gonna do my work. I'm gonna do my work. Again, any workplace where I've worked at, they've never had any problem with my work. My work standard is very high. What I do is I be very due diligent about what I'm doing. I make sure it's done right. I read instructions. I install things properly, how they should be installed to the manufacturers. Do you understand? I don't get no like, oh, that flooded or this problem. No, that doesn't happen because I try to be as due diligent as I can to make myself a better engineer, not to make all these jobs, to make myself better. So I take my time when I do that. I try to understand what I'm doing. I try and find out information about what I've got on the site with the information what they give me. If not, I go and research online and find out stuff. And that's what I did at this place, because they had some circulating pumps which were, let's say they were installed wrongly from the beginning and nobody knew after 2.5 years. But someone who's just a simple plumber could just point it out to them straight away. Yeah, those types of things kept on happening. And I would highlight those things to them because, again, they would like to think that they did an amazing job, but you don't know what you're looking at. That's the whole thing. And you never have known what you're looking at, even with the underfloor heating and things like that. There was numerous amounts of things, but more red flags started to pop up to me to say, wow, this is not the place to be, you know? I would have some conversations with the owner of the company, who was definitely a weird man. When I say weird, I mean just weird in general. I mean, he had an issue with people being foreign, and the weird thing about the place where we used to work, no one was English who lived in those properties. So it's just weird to me, because you know you're dealing with those types of people. At some point, those people are going to understand how you feel or talk. It's just weird. He said something what was really weird to me when we was inside a property one time. He said all these fucking foreign taps and all that, and I'm like, where do you think things come from? Sometimes things don't really get built in England that much, and if there are some English brands and stuff like that, people can have a choice to be able to use them or use other brands. It's their own property. You understand? If you looked at everything inside your own property and asked where things came from, they're not built in this country. Some people can have a problem with that. Other people cannot have a problem with that. But I didn't see the need for someone to make that type of negative kind of comment in that type of vibe when you was inside someone else's house who was definitely not English, and they can hear you. Do you get it? The property is big, but they could hear you talking, innit? And I would hear you talking and ask you to leave. Do you understand? But anyway, what I saw, and that was red flag number 5, him saying that to me. I was on a site, and you can imagine this site, one of the properties alone was worth £100 million. One property. There was no float, means that there was no money to go to the shop and get spares if something ever broke. There was none of that. And I just said, wow, how could you be maintaining this place? If a light bulb goes out, there's some light bulbs in properties there which cost, they were like £150, £200. Some lights, I looked at a light strip behind a book cabinet before, and that was like £750 just for one light strip, one LED light strip, right? So things were expensive, and I said, how the hell can we run this site with no money when these other people have definitely got money, enough money to tell you to go out to the shop and go and get it? It's like, I'm front of face, so I understand what they're trying to do here. You can only try and please some people in some situations, but in other situations, you cannot do nothing because it is above you, right? It's how their situation, how their tree of command or stuff like that is organized. Again, I would tell the area supervisor, but he was a whatless man as well. Just a fool, a waste of space. And I'm going to tell you why he was a waste of space in a minute. When I would talk to him and highlight about certain problems and all that, he'd be like, yeah, I'll get back to you. I'll see you when I come to the site. And what it was he even held back on showing me the hereditary jobs which were left out on the site for 6 months. That's how I knew you was an arsehole. And I knew you was an arsehole when I asked you about certain things which were to the site, like, oh, we need to get this particular part. It was an extract fan, right? He'll know what I'm talking about. It was an extract fan he was supposed to get. He got the wrong one. But all of the cabinets and like kitchen cabinets and stuff like that are bespoke. This is a high-end place. Every kitchen is definitely like 200, 300 grand, yeah? So why would you think you could pick up a aftermarket, or even if not the same brand, which is not the same size? How's it gonna fit? It just doesn't make any sense, innit? But just understand that a lot of these senseless people are in these places at these jobs, holding up space and just fucking it up for everybody else, really, to be honest. So that was another hurdle which I had to overcome with them. But what I know is just that no place is ever easy, innit? So you make something how you want, innit? So you make it more comfortable for yourself, you make it more of a problem for yourself, and you make things easier for yourself by getting along with things and just kind of like doing your work, innit? Which I do, because at no point have I ever had a problem with anybody telling me anything about the work which I'm doing as a plumber, as the lead engineer on the site. No, there's been no problem with that. It's always been, and it will always be, an attitude or something like that. But again, you're not the father of me. My father is alive and my mother is alive. They're the only people that can police me. So I move on, but I'm not, and I don't want anybody to think, oh, you've got an attitude or something like that. I only have an attitude when I start to see red flags, and I am who I am. So I'm going to speak about my experiences and how they happen, innit? So when I'm at this job, I also start highlighting that this other person is just being a bit of an idiot, where he's asking about certain jobs when you know yourself. And this person at this job says to me, oh, do you think he's racist, Jay? And I said, that's not what I said to you. I've never said that to you. I've never, and why would I tell you as someone who is the same color as him that he's racist? Like, you know how to deal with that. Like, you've had some type of training. That's dumb. I don't know who you are. You tell me that you support QPR, Mark. That's what you said. So in these whole, like, do you think this or do you think that? Why would I, again, I'm a grown man. Why am I discussing this with you? This is beside the point at the workplace. If someone is treating me that type of way, this is the reason why you have HR. So why don't I speak to HR or people like that about it? Red flag number 6. You got to keep up. When you tell HR anything as a company, yeah, first thing they're going to do is they're going to go back and tell the other people what you said instantly. Instantly. It's their MO to do that. HRs are only meant to protect the company. And protecting the company is doing anything necessary. Means that everyone can get it. Everyone is an op. Everyone is a problem, right? If you're a problem to the company, you now become a problem, right? So I just done what I wanted to do, which was, you ain't going to talk to me and I'm not letting everybody else know that you do these types of things. So I told HR. They said, oh, we've got to remove you from the site because of blah, blah, blah. Cool, whatever, man. Said, could you come into and have a meeting? I said, what, with the fool and the idiot? And then the person that knows what I've said and who's told everyone. What for? You must think I'm an idiot. No, I just have time to do a video about it later and tell people that this is what happens. And these sequences of situations, what happened, I wouldn't say to you that I tried to bring them upon myself, because again, when I go to work, I'm just there to work. I used to work 6 days a week there. So I was just interested in making money and getting on, because I told you at the beginning of the story, me as a plumber and someone who has been working, yeah, it's never been my dream to be working for somebody. It's probably more of my ideal thing is working for myself. But sometimes when it's not working out, you need to have a plan B. No plan B, you'll be in problems. I'm not trying to be in problems. I'm not trying to be broke neither. I'm trying to live a comfortable life. I'm not trying to tell people I'm trying to be super rich. I want to get this, get that. Yes, I do want to be rich. If it doesn't happen, it's not going to be a problem to me, because I'm going to be comfortable knowing that I live a comfortable life. And that's the whole point. I'm trying to live a comfortable life, but these L dickheads are over here doing work bozo shit. And that's why we've got these work bozos. We've got these people that don't take the time out to get to know somebody, don't know your level of skill, not interested in you as a person, which is okay because we're at work. Again, you got your own things to deal with, so have I. But when I highlight working issues and working problems which happen within your business, it's to do with your business culture. Your business culture is all fucked up. And that's what it is. None of these places will learn from other people or learn from them their own mistakes on what they do to people, or even make how people feel in the long run. Do you get it? If I wasn't so confident, yeah, and transparent within just telling these types of stories, I wouldn't, because you would keep these things to yourself. Again, I've got nothing to hide. Nothing at all. All of these people and the characters that I've mentioned in the story, all bozos. You know, even the guy that I worked with, he was a bozo, John. He used to come to work with no tools. He'd been there for about a year and a bit. How can you be working somewhere with no tools but still getting paid? But someone else brings their tools and then you use their tools. Again, I cut that off with him. I'm not a fool. You can't be doing that. Bring your own tools, do your own jobs. I have to do my own jobs. I have to get up, get paid. I have to make sure that the other people are on site, and I have to make sure things are done. So why am I just extending out my toolkit to anybody who I just don't know? Dumb. I'm not doing that. And again, I realized that a lot of these companies are not invested within people. They just use you as a pawn to help themselves, really, to lift their leg up and have a little wee on you from the back. So again, some things you can't really take too personal, because you learn from these experiences, isn't it? I now know what are the two different types of MDMAs, and I know now that I would never be signing an MDMA for any type of job which I consider as my dream job, or a job which I can potentially be in for a long time, because I know personally that's stagnated. That 6 months kind of stagnated my like social, the stuff what I was posting and stuff like that. Yeah, I still had stuff going on because I've always got fucking stuff going on. But it definitely did stagnate the growth, and it just made me think, you know, like, what's the point, man? What's the fucking point in doing any of this crap? There's no point in doing any of this, because when you get to a certain point of being like, being able to get certain jobs, it's just a shit show at the end of the day. It's a shit show all over. Like, I couldn't care if the people saw this video and thought about something about it, because everything what I've said was true, factual things, what happened all in a timeline. Started working there. Again, never got a call from any of these people. When I worked and highlighted problems, it was always, oh yeah, we can't deal with that right now. I actually went to get a part for a job which happened on the first week when I started working there. It was quite a big flood, yeah? They said, don't get the part because the people who run the building, like contracts, man, the contractors who run the building, all that, they won't pay the company who's doing the maintenance. That's when I said, bruh, we're in big problems here, you know. I'm in the wrong place. And we're in the middle of We're in Chelsea. I'm looking around and people got swimming pools in their house, left to right, different types of rooms, big, massive rooms. I thought I'm in the right place. I must can get in with one of these people, but I'm not a person who's like a beg for people. I don't beg to like get to know someone. Can I give you my number? I'm not that type of person. I meet people, I do my work, I try and do the best as I can to the highest standard as I can. And I try to let people leave with a good sense of what it's like to deal with a person like myself, who is due diligent, who is bothered about what I do, who is passionate about what I do, who understands and will learn about what I'm trying to do to make it better as an experience for them and myself. I'm not interested in going to people's properties and lying about something what I don't know. If I don't know something, I would blatantly tell them, come back and tell them next 2 days, do you know what? I researched on it. I found up some stuff and I want to try this with it. Is it possible that we could try this? Maybe we could schedule it in at a certain point. I brought in loads of different ideas to that place. Like I brought in a whiteboard. So every week that person who used to come to the site, they can come and see the outstanding jobs. So we could talk about them straight away. But guess what? Never wanted to talk. Never. But that just shows you just how reality and like your dream could be is two different things, man. You get to somewhere and you realize that, you know, like, I know why no one like me has ever been to a place like this, because it's not for us. It's not for me. And I've accepted that. So that's why it was easy for me to tell the story. I've accepted the point that, like, you know, everything doesn't always work out. I'm in my 30s. I'm not 5 years old. So I know that everything doesn't work out. You know, it's never to be deterred from having a goal and wanting to reach that, because that was my whole point of just going to this job, to say that I have done it before and I can do it at that level. And that level obviously has opened other doors for me, because you play chess and not checkers, innit? So once I got the position, I was able to go to different positions which were much higher up, which were maybe in different areas, but it definitely done its purpose. So don't ever let people play you. Play them back. And then when it's time, you can make a video like this, because I waited time until that MDMA thing was over. And I was able to make this video to be able to tell people as context, you know, your dream job could turn into your worst nightmare. You could be working with pagans, idiots, pom-poms, chiefs, fools, whatever. I don't know what the new lingo is for it now, but I just call it the work bozos. Check out that video, which is on my page now, which explains what a work bozo is. And that's what most of those people were. Bozos, work bozos. And they know they are. Like to tell stories with transparency. I've been a plumber for a while. I've got loads of types of stories like this. But again, I can tell them because I'm not afraid of what people would say at the end of the day, because you always grow and learn from mistakes, whether they be upon your behalf or other people's behalf. But you move on gracefully, innit? That's something that I've learned with age. Like, share, and subscribe. The vibe. It's me, Mr. London Plumber. Hope you enjoyed the story time, my dream job into my disaster job.